Hey everybody, my name is Brock with no K, and you just got stuck at a four-way stop, the number one comedy podcast in Chicago, recorded out of a Toyota Camry. I've been a rideshare driver for the last 6 years and have taken over 15,000s of rides. I've strapped my car with lights, cameras, microphones, and have my passengers tell their funniest stories. I am here once again for the last time this year with my co-host Chase. How we doing, Chase?
Hey, Brock. I'm doing great. This may be the best episode yet. It is the last episode of the season.
It's the last episode yet.
It's the last episode yet. Correct. Latest and greatest, baby. This is it. Season 1 is wrapped after this.
If you're listening to this one first, there's 19 more of these that you can go back and listen to.
That's right. And if you listen to it reverse chronological order, they're always the best. So
No, they
keep
actually
getting
get
better and
worse. They get worse and worse as you go back.
Yeah.
But no,
right. That's
you
what
won't
I'm,
know that though.
Right. Anyways, right. Yeah. Started. Okay. Anyways, I'm calling this one
do
the
whatever you want.
leftovers. This one's that leftovers episode because this is basically all the stories that we held on to but didn't make it onto an episode yet.
We just had Thanksgiving. It's like the leftovers.
Yeah, the food still slaps, but it hits different.
Right.
Yeah, so the story themes of this episode are a little random.
And we're saving all the good stuff for the next season. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you get all the good stuff. And the last story on this episode may get us killed.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean,
So
yeah. If we
It's-
disappear before season 2 happens,
you'll
like,
know.
yeah.
You'll know what happened. And okay, anyways, I've been trying to get a theme built for an episode built around roommates, terrible roommates, roommate stories, that kind of thing. But we just haven't gotten enough roommate stories this year. But let's get into the first set of stories here. If you want to go and take a ride with me, with 3 women all crammed in the backseat. Oh, why do I live this away?
Must be the funny.
But if you want to take a free ride with me, make me laugh from the back of my Camry. Oh, why do I live this away?
Must be the funny.
You just got stuck at a 4-way stop.
All right, we got Max in the front seat tonight. Max, you said you had a story for us.
Yes.
What was the theme or the topic?
The fourth and final year of my college career started off with an insane roommate story. And this man was a presence, so to speak, throughout my entire collegiate life and the 4th year of my attendance. This man was somebody who would threaten people with knives,
Sweet.
get stabbed with knives. Someone who would fillet a raw fish that he caught 3 hours previously in the day on a glass table in the backyard.
It's good to have somebody to.
He shattered the table.
Oh.
We bought the table 1 day prior to it shattering.
Oh, cool.
It was nice because the table was able to stay out there for another 3 weeks. We weren't able to enjoy it because it was still shattered. It just
a
wasn't
big
cleaned
hole.
up. As for the fish resided in our trash bin for 2 weeks.
Oh.
You may wonder why it was in there for 2 weeks when trash is regularly taken out once a week.
Sure.
I wonder the same thing myself.
Why didn't you just take it out?
I wasn't living in the
Okay,
place at this time. This was maybe about a week before I moved in.
Got it.
However, the day I did move in,
Like, what smells like fish?
it was the kitchen cabinets, because I went into the kitchen immediately when I moved in to stock some of my food. Somebody had left produce not in the fridge, not on the counter, but in the cabinet. Mistaking the cabinet for a fridge, that produce must have been left there for weeks.
Yeah.
Because, well, it wasn't produce when I discovered it. There was maggots all over the place.
Oh, yum.
I sent a Snapchat of it to my buddy Mikey J in the back seat, and
I
his
heard
only
those have really good protein.
yeah, I didn't really stick around to figure that out. I threw it away. His quote will forever live on in my memory. He said, "Dog, you live in filth." Every single night for the first semester ended in the same way. A 24 rack of Milwaukee's Best was absolutely demolished on the deck until 2:30 every morning.
Ice or light?
Oh, we're talking ice. We're not talking light. This
Yeah.
was the
I had to
regular
ask.
Milwaukee's
Yeah.
Best.
Yeah.
And also a pack of cigarettes every day too. I can't remember the brand, but it wasn't. If I can't remember the brand, then that tells you everything you need to know about the cigs.
Pall Malls, baby.
Luckily, my tenure with this guy ended early because of coronavirus pandemic.
Okay.
I spent the last 6 weeks of my final semester at home, thank God. But the last memory I had with him was he came back from the bars one night, wasted as hell. Took one of my frozen pizzas. Now, notice how I say my.
Yeah.
Took it from the freezer at 2 in the morning, tossed it in the oven, baked it, continued to bake it.
Yeah, no, that's...
The pizza was not eaten. I'll just say that. The pizza baked for a nice 4.5 hours until I was awoken by the smell of smoke.
Yeah.
And, typically if the pizza was smoked,
Delicious.
that would be fantastic. However, it was charred to a crisp.
It's the best
It-
pizza
it-
you can make.
It's one thing that it was my pizza, right?
What brand was it?
Oh, it was a Jack's Pizza.
Okay. Classic.
So, it was a little bit close to the heart. It was a valued commodity, but the house reeked for the rest of the day. It was an NFL Sunday. It was bad vibes.
Yeah, last Sunday I had a Jack's Pizza for lunch and for dinner, so...
Did you do 2 pizzas or both from the same za?
No, it's 2 separate pizzas.
Okay, that's the way to do
That's
it.
how my life is going.
No, that's... One time, me and my buddy Mikey J had a buddy that whipped a Jack's Pizza across the speedway. True story.
Still frozen, I take it?
Yeah, it wasn't cooked or nothing like that. We took the pizza from the freezer. He just had the idea to accidentally throw it across the entire store. It was quite a scene.
That's awesome.
We were able to get out of there without being banned for life, though.
All right, Max, thanks for coming on.
Take it easy.
All right, we've got Nika in the back seat. Nika, you said you had a good blackout story.
Yeah, I do have a good blackout story.
Let's hear what you got.
Last year, for my friend's 21st birthday, we all flew down to Nashville. For some context, we're all from Boston, but I was in Michigan because that's where I went over for school. And so we had one other guy friend who went to Wash U. So he was going to drive down. I was flying from Michigan, and my friends were all flying from Boston. So the way that the flights back worked is I had like a flight 7 hours later after my friends did. So
Okay.
I asked the guy who was driving back to just hang out with me because we've been friends for a while. So ultimately, he was like a guy I used to hook up with back in the day. While we were had our 7 hours of boredom, we decided to get a drink, and it was like the middle of summer in Nashville, so it was like super hot, and so
Oh, yeah.
we were basically starting to drink these drinks to quench our thirst, other than actually just get a drink. And so ultimately I blacked out, and the next second I opened my eyes, which was hours later, I was in the middle of Illinois on the way to Washington, St. Louis, because I decided when I was blackout and I agreed to skipping my flight to Michigan and actually going back with him home. So
Oh, jeez.
I think it's a pretty awesome story. I got to go to Wash U, St. Louis, for about 7 hours. I got myself a 5 a.m. flight from there to Michigan that morning, so I got home pretty quickly. But I guess that's my best drunk blackout story. Is
Okay.
I blacked out and I went from Nashville to Wash U, and I missed my flight for love. But yeah, it was a good time. Honestly, no regrets. Love that guy.
Okay, so you guys where were you guys hanging out drinking?
I have no idea. It was probably the Broadway area.
Okay.
I'm not super familiar with Nashville myself.
Okay,
but-
okay. You guys were downtown in
Yeah,
Nashville.
we were staying at a hotel for the weekend, but then we got the checkout time happened before
Yeah.
my flight. And
Oh,
so
sure.
We were just hanging outside, but it was so hot, and that's why we decided to go get a drink. But we just we were really good friends in high school, so
Yeah.
we just were catching up, and then I like obviously didn't know my tolerance well enough because I literally blacked
So he
out so bad.
Did he talk you out of taking the flight, or
That's like a answer I'll never know.
you'll never know? Okay.
From what he told me, we both decided on a master plan to skip the flight and just go live at his college town for a week. Not that I had like a job and everything, so I don't really know how that worked out on my end, but honestly, I'll take my part of the blame for it.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Awesome, Nika. Well, thank you for coming out and telling that story. What was the other one?
Oh yeah, the worst roommate of all time.
Oh yeah, worst roommate.
Oh,
Really?
this one's fun. So, I actually just moved to Chicago. So before this, I moved to Ohio right out of college for a job.
Bummer.
And so I went to the University of Michigan, where like no one like moves to Ohio. It's like a rival area
Right,
of Columbus.
right.
Like I literally was living on the OSU campus, so I didn't know anyone. So I found like some Facebook roommates, and that's already kind of like a red flag.
Yeah.
But I was on Facebook too, so I was like, whatever. I like FaceTime with them. They seem pretty normal. So finally we all move in. It's a really nice place. I was getting like a few red flags before moving in with them because
Girls, guys.
Girls.
Okay.
they were both college graduates like I was.
Okay.
But I have a pretty bad judge of character. But my friends were telling me that I like shouldn't live with them because they like thought they like might be like a little sheltered or just like antisocial, but I wasn't getting that at all. But unfortunately I was wrong. Anyway, so it's the first day that we all move in, and we decide to get dinner as roommates, like get to know each other. None of us know each other. And so we get dinner at around 7:30, and then we decide to go like pregame at a bar. So we pregame at a bar, and like one of the roommates, let's call her like Natalie, she is just like wobbling over, and she's like 5'8", I'm 5'2", so like it's like a big wobble, and I was like,
Yeah.
are you okay? Like, and so I decided to like take her home because my other roommate had a boyfriend who she like didn't really want to leave, and I didn't really care. We were really close to the bars, so I took her home, like made sure she like went in her room and like was alive. And then I like went back into my room just like to charge my phone for a little before going back out. And as I go back out, I like hear like rustling in like the like cabinet for with our like snacks, and like I
Okay.
totally feel a drunk snack, like no like no
Right.
shame. But the way like our like apartment works is you would see everything in that cabinet if you were leaving through the door. And so as I'm about to leave, I see like her like scooping something and something like gliding down her arm, and I'm like, what is going on? So I go into the cabinet, and she's literally manhandling my peanut butter. And so for
Bummer.
reference, my peanut butter is that Trader Joe's peanut butter with like the oil on top.
Okay.
So she
So that's
like,
what was dripping.
oh yeah, it was like
Okay.
all the oil, and like she wasn't using a spoon. She was literally using both of her hands, like scooping it like Winnie the Pooh with honey. Like it was like all over her hands, like up to her like elbows per hand, like all over her face, like on her
Ugh.
chest. And also the one
Just
note
like
on this, no, literally,
oh.
she was eating it like Winnie the Pooh. I like have seen some pretty crazy shit like with drunk people, but I have never seen something like that. And like I love peanut butter.
At
like
least get a spoon though.
no, no spoon.
Get a spoon.
And also, she has her own peanut butter. She has Jiffy's peanut butter, which is so much better than Trader Joe's oil, like no sugar added peanut butter. So I was like,
Okay,
what
yeah.
is going on? And the worst part about this is, like the next morning, I'm like, I was not gonna clean that up. That was gross. I don't want her skin follicles. Like that is disgusting.
I'm not
It's
eating
peanut
that.
butter also.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so I thought she would clean it up because that's literally disgusting. And we were already having like an ant problem. And she didn't. And so when I finally like sent her a message, I was like, haha, hey girly, like that vibe. She still didn't clean it up. So I ended up cleaning up her peanut butter mess.
Ugh.
And she never got me a new peanut butter. So I actually ended up moving out of that house like a few months later and to Chicago where I am
Screw
now.
you,
but
Natalie.
No, screw Natalie, if you're listening to this, literally screw you.
Is
Because,
that's not her name, is it?
no, not fully.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
What a shitty roommate.
Yeah.
Don't touch other people's peanut butter ever.
Especially when you have better peanut butter.
Yeah, like Jif. You said Jif she had?
Jiffy's.
Yeah.
It's so good. That's the best peanut butter in my opinion. I was trying to be healthy, so that's why I got like the gross oily one.
Yeah. Wait, is it Jiffy or is it Jif?
I don't know. I don't buy it, but it's really good.
I think you're putting two together. You're putting
Jiffy.
Skippy and
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I think it is Jif.
It's
then.
Jif and yeah.
I'm not sure.
That's all
but
good. It doesn't
It's
matter.
either one of those is really good. Not
Yeah,
Trader
they
Joe's
are.
though. Trader Joe's peanut butter is so bad, but
Then why did you buy it?
because I was trying to be healthy.
Oh,
yeah,
bummer.
but I never got to be healthy because she literally ate
Yeah,
all of
she ate
it.
it
There was
all.
no peanut butter left.
Ugh.
She like left a can for me. I was like, I don't know like why you think I'm gonna eat this after you got like your skin follicles all over it. But,
Yeah, no.
yeah.
No, thank
I got
you.
her to bed after that though, so I don't think I'm the bad roommate in this for sure.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you for telling that story as well.
So yeah, Brock and I used to live together for about 6 months in Madison.
We did.
And before we moved in together, we were both convinced that by the end of it, we would hate each other and just absolutely not be friends anymore.
And instead, we smoked a lot of weed and watched The Office all the time, and we were best buds.
Lived in harmony, playing Modern Warfare 2 on the Xbox 360 on the big screen TV. Brock worked at the Calzone restaurant, come home late with some munchies. It was fantastic.
Dude, I was thinking about that the other day. Like, that's all I ate for like 2.5 years straight was calzones every day. Like, nothing else. Because I would eat it for free.
That's when you're broke. I mean, why would you not eat for free when you can? You know, I was the same way. I would take advantage of free food from you all the time. I was as broke, and actually I wasn't even working. I was just in school, so I was extra poor.
Right. I don't even think I was poor. It was just
you're just
free.
You're just taking advantage of the system. I get it. Yeah.
DP Dough for the win.
Yes, I miss DP Dough a lot. I miss those zones, man. Those
there is
calzones
one
were
in
so
Milwaukee.
good. Well, I'll be back in Milwaukee soon. I'll have to go check that out.
I think we're gonna have to make a DP Dough trip.
Yeah, we might have to do that and record it and eat it on the
way out.
podcast. Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah,
that could be super fun. Let's do it.
Yeah. Deal.
Okay, so anyways, let's get into the next set of stories. We have 2 prank stories coming up. And one is about some pranks that happened in Mexico. So, yeah, we've got some prank stories. I've been trying to put together a prank episode. We just never really assembled like 4 or 5 stories about pranks to use together. So we're going to give you 2 prank stories back to back.
Here we go.
Funniest prank. I mean, like, I'm definitely a big prankster. So, like,
What are some good pranks that you pulled on, your buddies?
Here's, I'll do a harmless one and then a harmful one.
Yeah. I mean, we want the worst of the worst.
Yeah. So the harmless one was, we got my friend we got his sister to give us the keys to his house. We took all of our SAT flashcards, so like 1,000 of them.
Okay.
And every ceiling fan in his house, we just put all the flashcards on top of the ceiling fan. So like when every room they went into, like his parents, they turned
As soon as they flipped on the fan, they just went
like
everywhere.
1,000 SAT flashcards, whatever. Super harmless. Didn't like obviously like not gonna change.
Yeah, not bad. That's so fun.
Then the harmful one that we used to do was you go to the supermarket, you buy like a garbage pail, you know, like a 20, 30 gallon garbage pail. You fill it with water. Like I had a hose at my house. Fill it with water, and then you go to an unsuspecting person. We didn't know these people. And then you lean the garbage pail against the front door of their house.
Okay.
Like the door has to open in for it to make any sense. And then you ring the doorbell, they open the door, and then like 25 gallons of water just spill into their house.
That is good.
Then what we did was, I guess like at its worst,
it's just water. It's not that harmful.
It's just water. Yeah.
You're not dumping acid into their
no,
their
definitely
living room.
not. And then I think the worst prank
that would be fun too. No.
Oh yeah, no, sure, absolutely. I mean, just burn through someone's house into their basement. But I think the worst prank we did was when I took the SAT. The person that sat in front of me went to my high school.
Okay.
So like, I knew her SAT number, the number that you take home and you're supposed to remember to get your score.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Right. So like, if I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, she was 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. And it was like the days of phone books, so you can just call like someone's house. So we called her house as a prank, and we said, "Oh, like
this is so and so from the SAT.
Is this yeah? Well, this is so and so from like College Board, whatever. Is your daughter, you know, XYZ?
Yeah.
And then we had the number. Like she sat in front of me. I knew her number. Oh, was her SAT like record keeping number 1, 2, 3, 4, 4? If mine was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. Well, you know, She used a pen instead of a pencil, so her whole SAT doesn't count. We thought it was the funniest thing in the world.
That is actually kind of funny.
And
I can.
and
Yeah.
the mother screamed at the daughter on the phone, and we just listened to the whole thing. And when it was all said and done, like, we came to conscience, and we were just like, "Oh my God, we're so sorry." Like, no, everything's fine.
We're just messing.
And then
with
she
you.
screamed at us.
What an angry mom.
Okay, so that's
Those are good. Those are some good stories.
those are good.
pranks.
They're pranks. They're pranks.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to our show. If you made it this far, this is it. This is the end of season 1. There is only one more story left, and it may get us killed. So we hope to see you for season 2, but if not, avenge us!
Yeah, and like I said earlier, if this is the first episode you're listening to, go check out the other ones because those are good stories too. Let us know what your favorite episode or your favorite story was.
Yeah, we got to do a best of. So we should do like polls, you know? Do like a March Madness of stories or something.
Leave some reviews. We used to tell people to do that. Leave a review.
Yeah, but nobody listened. So listen, do whatever you want. If you want to
Yeah.
leave us a review, leave us a review. If you don't want to leave us a review, that's fine. Look, you're listening, and that's really all that matters to me. I appreciate the fact that you're listening, and if you made it through all 20 episodes, you are a boss, a king, a queen, a whatever. You're the best. If this is your first time listening, you're still that. Just go back and listen to the rest of them. We love you. Thank you for being here. We got one more story for you.
Let's go
Let's go.
to Ireland.
Off to Ireland. Beep, beep.
All right, anonymous writer, short story. Go ahead.
So this happened summer 2017. I was in Dublin for a research conference, and I'm supposed to meet up with a friend of mine who's also going to the research conference at
Okay.
this pub. And I end up going to the wrong pub. She like gives me a name, and I end up going to the one that's like right across the street. And I'm sitting there waiting and waiting for her, and she's nowhere to be seen.
Doesn't show up.
Yeah, she doesn't show up, and I'm just like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to sit at the bar and have a drink. So I'm sitting there by myself, just drinking a beer, and I turn to my right, and there's another guy sitting there by himself, just drinking his beer, and it's Governor of and I'm from so I start freaking out, you know? And I went to school in and he used to visit my college all of the time,
Okay.
like for campaigning.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and he like sings. I don't know if you know this. He like sings and plays the guitar, and so he
So
would
he's one of
come,
those cool politicians.
right. And you know he would come to campus all the time, but I never got to see him for some reason. Like there was always a conflict, and I was so pissed that I never got to meet him in person. And then all of a sudden I'm meeting him at this pub. He was there. He was going to Asia actually for some like climate change policy conference.
Okay.
But then he stopped in Dublin, which isn't quite like, I don't know, a natural stopover if you're going to Asia. But he is Irish and he like performs music at this bar there.
Oh, sweet.
And so that's why he was there. And I was surprised because he didn't have any like personnel. He didn't have any people with him.
Okay.
Even though he was a former governor at the time, it was still just kind of like weird that he was completely by himself.
Yeah.
And it was
I
just
mean, nobody
us
knows
two.
who he is over there. Like,
Yeah.
I had no idea who you're talking about.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not huge into politics.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have the slightest clue if I
That's-
saw him.
That's the
If
thing. I
picked him
do
up.
like. I do feel like I have a good eye for politicians, so it is
Okay.
nice. And I've run into some others too, where it's like I'm able to call them out, but other people don't notice it, and I guess it's a skill. But anyway, I turn to him and I go, "Oh my God, are you?" And he's like, "Shh." And like I have the pictures to prove it. It was him. And we start talking, and I freak out, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm from." Like I'm in grad school for political science, blah, blah, blah. And he keeps telling me that I should run for office, even though that's the last thing that I want to do. And we're just talking small talk about politics and all of that. And all of a sudden he, like towards the end of the conversation, he goes, "Oh, by the way, I'm staying at blah, blah, blah hotel and my wife isn't in town." And I'm like, oh my God. I didn't freak out, but I just kind of smiled and laughed it off. And I was like, oh,
Right,
cool.
just-
And then,
Goodbye.
yeah. And, is a very attractive, smart politician. But I was just like, this is so fucking weird.
Still a man.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I just kind of pretended he didn't say it and kind of like laughed it off.
Yeah.
And then it was so sad because the conversation just like slowly dwindled away. And then finally I figured out like where my friend was and that I was at the wrong pub. And then I went across the street to tell her. And she was just like, oh my God, I got to go over there too now.
So did you guys watch him perform? Was he playing that
No.
night?
Well, he was playing that night, but I ended up going to the bar across the street before he started performing.
Okay.
And in Dublin, like, there are all these really cool pubs where there's live music, like, every night almost at all of them.
Oh, sweet.
So we ended up listening to a band at the pub across the street. But I don't know. I guess for
You
me,
missed the opportunity to watch Governor.
I know perform, but
missed opportunity.
yeah.
And it sounds like you could have hooked up with him too.
I know, and I was. A part of me was like, maybe it was just a social, like maybe he was just being awkward, and he wasn't intending to ask me for anything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like if you're a politician, you're trained in this social stuff. Like, wouldn't you know not to be weird like that? Like, if it was an accident, he was just, saying, oh, by the way, I'm like staying at this hotel. My wife isn't here. You know what I mean? It could be an accident, but it's also
no,
like.
it's not. Absolutely, it's not. He's a sleazy guy, it sounds like. And
I'm trying to give him too much slack, I guess.
I'm glad you remain anonymous because I love this story.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, I'm glad that this story worked out. I was trying to think of others, and this is
Oh,
the best
that's
I could
good.
come up with.
That's awesome. All right, well, thank you, Anonymous Rider, for telling us that
Thank you.
sleazeball governor story
Yeah.
in Ireland.
Oh my God. I can't wait to hear it
Yeah,
on
me
the
too.
actual podcast. We'll see.
Hey, everybody. If you made it
Hey.
this far, thanks for listening. There is no episode next week, so we will not see you next Tuesday.
We will see you
We'll see you next year.